Stop taking your blood pressure pill with a tall glass of water first thing in the morning. That sounds wrong, doesn't it? It sounds like the most basic, most responsible thing a person over 60 can do. Your doctor told you to take it. The bottle says, take it daily. And the water? The water is just water. But if you are over 60 and your blood pressure is still creeping up, still bouncing around, still leaving you dizzy when you stand from the couch, that simple morning ritual may be the exact reason nothing is working. Not the dose, not the brand, not your diet, the timing, the order, the one quiet detail nobody bothered to explain to you. Stay right where you are, because what is about to be explained can begin to change your numbers tonight before you even refill the prescription. The fix is free. The fix is simple. And the fix is something fewer than 5% of seniors are doing correctly. It will be explained in full, but only after a closer look at what is actually happening inside an aging body when blood pressure refuses to come down. His name is Ethan Cole. 15 years as a cardiothoracic surgeon. 15 years standing over open chests, holding hearts that gave out too soon, hearts that were trying to push blood through pipes that had quietly hardened over decades. He has seen what uncontrolled pressure does from the inside. And he will tell you something most surgeons will not say in public. He has the problem too, not in his patients, in his own body. A few years ago, a routine check showed his own pressure climbing into the range he had spent a career warning people about. A fasting glucose of 124, a pre-diabetes flag, the same quiet drift toward decline that walks into his clinic every single day, wearing a different face. So when he talks about lowering blood pressure the right way, he is not lecturing from a textbook. He is speaking as a man who had to figure this out for himself, in his own kitchen, with his own cuff on his own arm. Take care of your body. It is the only home you have. Now here is the part that changes everything. You think the problem is your heart. You have been told for years that high blood pressure is a heart problem, a pump problem, a stress problem. You have been handed pill after pill aimed at the heart, at the vessels, at the kidneys, and yet the numbers keep drifting. Why? Because after 60, high blood pressure is rarely a heart problem at all. It is a stiffness problem. It is a nervous system problem. It is a nighttime problem. It is a timing problem. The heart is the messenger. The heart is the alarm. The heart is the smoke detector going off in the hallway. But the fire is somewhere else entirely. Treating the heart alone at age 65 is like putting tape over the smoke alarm while the basement is filling with smoke. It does not fix the fire. It just quiets the warning. And that is exactly why so many seniors find themselves on 2 pills, then 3 pills, then 4, with numbers that still will not behave. They were never doing it wrong. They were just never told the one missing step. The real driver of stubborn senior blood pressure is the slow, silent loss of flexibility in the artery walls, combined with a nervous system that no longer calms itself the way it did at 40. Once you understand that, everything changes. The food changes. The timing changes. The order of your day changes. And the numbers finally start to listen. Now, why does this matter so much? Why is this worth 20 more minutes of your attention? Because uncontrolled blood pressure after 60 is the single largest cause of stroke in this country. 72% of strokes happen while you are asleep or within 60 minutes of waking. Read that again. 72%. The hours when you are quiet, still, and unaware are the hours your pressure is most likely to spike and stay spiked. A stroke at 65 does not always kill. Often it does something worse. It takes the left side of your body. It takes your speech. It takes your ability to stand from a chair without help. It takes the version of you that used to walk the dog, hold a grandchild, cook a Sunday meal. 1 in 3 seniors who suffer a major stroke never live independently again. 1 in 5 does not survive the year. And the cruelest part is this: most of those events were preventable, not by stronger drugs, but by understanding how an aging body actually regulates pressure. So if your numbers are still high, if your medication keeps changing, if you feel like you are losing this fight, please do not close this. The relief is coming. The fix is simple, and it is free. What follows is a ranked list. 7 things most seniors are doing the wrong way when it comes to lowering blood pressure, counted down from the 7th most important to the single most powerful change you can make tonight. That number 1 item is something fewer than 3% of Americans over 60 are doing, and it is the one Ethan Cole now does every single evening in his own home. It costs nothing. It takes 90 seconds. And in published readings, it has dropped systolic pressure by an average of 12 points in 2 weeks. Stay until the end. Because if you only remember one thing from this video, it must be number 1. Before we start, a small favor. In the comments below, type your age and your most recent top number. Just 2 numbers, nothing else. It helps shape the next video, and it helps the people reading after you feel less alone. Number 7. Drinking your water cold and fast in the morning. Most seniors wake up, walk to the kitchen, and drink a tall glass of cold water in one go because someone told them hydration lowers pressure. It does, eventually. But cold water hitting an empty stomach at 6 in the morning triggers something called the cold pressor response. The blood vessels on the surface of your body clamp down to preserve core temperature. That clamping raises your pressure, sometimes by 10 to 15 points for the next 30 minutes. Think of your arteries first thing in the morning as garden hoses that have been sitting in a cold garage all night. Stiff, narrow, slow to flex. Now imagine shocking them with ice water. They tighten, not open. A 2022 observational study out of a cardiovascular research group followed 400 adults over 65 and found that those who drank room temperature water slowly over 10 minutes had morning systolic readings 9% lower than those who chugged cold water. 9%. From temperature alone. Walter, 68, a retired baseball coach from Knoxville, had a top number stuck at 158 every single morning for 2 years. His daughter suggested he try warm water instead. He laughed at her. He tried it anyway for 2 weeks. His morning reading came down to 143. He cried at the kitchen table, not because of the number, because of how small the change was. Here is how to do it. Pour 8 ounces of water the night before. Leave it on the nightstand. In the morning, sip it over 5 to 10 minutes before your feet hit the floor. Room temperature. Never cold. That is number 7. But number 6 is something nearly every senior does within 30 minutes of waking, thinking it is harmless, and it may be undoing every pill you take. Number 6. Taking your blood pressure medication at the wrong time of day. For decades, the standard advice has been take it in the morning with breakfast. Simple, easy to remember, and for the aging body, often wrong. Here is the mechanism. Blood pressure follows a daily rhythm. In a healthy 40-year-old, it dips at night by 10 to 20%. That nighttime dip is what protects the brain and kidneys from years of pressure damage. But after 60, that dip often disappears. The medical term is non-dipping. Your pressure stays high all night, hammering the small vessels in the brain hour after hour while you sleep. If your pill is taken at 7 in the morning, its strongest effect lands at lunch, when you need it least, and it is wearing off by bedtime, when you need it most. Picture it like a security guard who shows up at noon and leaves at 6, while the break-in happens at 2 in the morning. A landmark trial published out of Spain, the Hygia chronotherapy study, followed over 19,000 patients and found that taking at least 1 blood pressure pill at bedtime instead of morning reduced cardiovascular events by 45%. 45% from timing alone. Dorothy, 71, a retired teacher from Phoenix, had been on 3 medications for 8 years. Her cardiologist finally suggested moving one of them to bedtime. Within 6 weeks, her morning readings dropped from 162 over 94 to 138 over 82. She told her granddaughter she felt like she had her brain back. Here is how to do it, and this matters. Do not change anything without your prescribing doctor. Ask one specific question at your next visit. Ask, would moving one of my blood pressure medications to bedtime be appropriate for me? That is the sentence. Write it down if you have to. If you take this question to your appointment, comment the words "I will ask" below. It commits you to actually doing it. That is number 6. But what comes next is the one thing seniors are told to eat for their heart that may be quietly pushing their pressure in the wrong direction. Number 5. Loading up on salt substitutes without knowing what is in them. You were told to cut salt. You did. You switched to one of those pink, low-sodium, potassium-rich substitutes sitting on the grocery shelf. Smart, right? Sometimes. Sometimes very much not. Here is what nobody tells you. Most salt substitutes replace sodium with potassium chloride. Potassium does help lower blood pressure in healthy kidneys, but after 60, kidney function naturally declines by about 1% per year. By 70, your kidneys may be working at 60% of their original capacity, even if your lab numbers look normal. Add a common blood pressure pill like lisinopril or losartan, which also raises potassium, and you can quietly build up potassium levels that cause dangerous heart rhythms. Think of potassium like rain on a field. The right amount feeds the crop. Too much on soil that cannot drain drowns it. A clinical review in a major nephrology journal found that nearly 1 in 4 seniors using potassium-based salt substitutes alongside common pressure medications had potassium levels in the borderline dangerous range, often without any symptoms until something went wrong. Raymond, 74, a retired engineer from Tucson, switched to a potassium salt substitute on his own. 6 months later, he ended up in the emergency room with an irregular heartbeat. He had been doing what he thought was the healthy thing. He did not know. Here is how to do it the right way. Lower sodium naturally. Cook at home. Use lemon, garlic, vinegar, fresh herbs, black pepper, smoked paprika. Skip the shaker entirely for 2 weeks and your taste buds reset. Aim for under 2,000 milligrams of sodium per day. And if you are on any blood pressure medication ending in pril, sartan, or any potassium-sparing diuretic, do not use potassium-based salt substitutes without a blood test and a conversation with your doctor first. That is number 5. The next one is something seniors do every single afternoon, believing it relaxes them, when in truth, it may be the largest hidden driver of evening pressure spikes. Number 4. The afternoon nap taken the wrong way. Naps are not the enemy. The wrong nap is. Most seniors lie down between 2 and 4 in the afternoon, fall into a deep sleep for 90 minutes or 2 hours, and wake up feeling groggy, heavy, and slightly dizzy. That dizziness is a signal. When you sink into deep, slow-wave sleep in the afternoon, your blood pressure drops sharply. When you wake, your nervous system has to scramble to push it back up. That scramble involves a surge of cortisol and adrenaline, and it can leave your pressure elevated for the next 4 to 6 hours, right through dinner and into the evening. Think of it like slamming the brakes on a car, then flooring the gas pedal. The engine takes a long time to settle. A 2021 study from a Japanese cardiology group followed 800 seniors and found that those who napped longer than 60 minutes had evening systolic readings on average 11 points higher than those who napped 20 to 30 minutes. 11 points. From a nap. Margaret, 75, from Phoenix, took a 2-hour nap every afternoon for years. She could not understand why her evening readings were always worse than her morning ones. She shortened her nap to 25 minutes with an alarm. Within 3 weeks, her evening top number came down from 151 to 136. Here is how to do it. Set an alarm for 20 to 30 minutes. Nap sitting up slightly, in a recliner if possible, not flat in bed. Nap before 2:30 in the afternoon, not after. And when the alarm rings, get up immediately and walk for 2 minutes. That walk is the off-ramp your nervous system needs. That is number 4. Now we move into the top 3. These are the changes that move the needle the most. And number 3 is something so simple, so free, and so dismissed by most seniors that they wave it off the moment they hear it. Number 3. Shallow chest breathing all day long. Most seniors over 65 breathe with the top third of their lungs. Short. Shallow. About 16 to 20 breaths per minute. They do not know they are doing it. Decades of stress, posture changes, and quiet anxiety have trained the diaphragm to stop working. And every shallow breath keeps the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight system, slightly switched on. All day. Every day. That low-grade alarm state is enough to keep blood pressure 5 to 10 points higher than it needs to be, for years. Think of your nervous system like a thermostat. Shallow breathing keeps the thermostat stuck just slightly too high. Slow breathing resets it. There is a technique called slow-paced breathing, 6 breaths per minute, that has been studied in over 30 trials. A meta-analysis in a hypertension journal found that 10 minutes of slow-paced breathing per day lowered systolic pressure by an average of 7 points over 8 weeks. 7 points. From breathing, no pill, no side effect, no cost. Helen, 74, came to a clinic skeptical, frustrated, tired of being told to relax. She agreed to try 10 minutes a day. 2 weeks in, her home readings dropped by 8 points. 6 weeks in, her doctor reduced one of her medications. She told her daughter she felt like she had control of her own body for the first time in a decade. Here is how to do it. Sit in a chair, feet flat on the floor, one hand on your belly. Breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 seconds, feeling the belly rise, not the chest. Breathe out gently through pursed lips for 6 seconds. That is 1 breath. Do 6 of those per minute for 10 minutes, once in the morning and once before bed. Set a timer. Do not skip it. Before we go to number 2, if anything you have heard so far has surprised you, hit the like button right now. The next 2 are the ones Ethan Cole considers non-negotiable in his own home. Number two is something every senior does after dinner without thinking, and it may be the single largest reason morning readings are so stubborn. Number two, sitting still for the 3 hours after dinner. Most seniors finish dinner around 6 or 7, then sit. They sit for the news. They sit for a show. They sit until bedtime. That stillness in an aging body is a problem. Here is why. After a meal, your blood is flooded with glucose, fat, and sodium. In a younger body, the muscles pull glucose out of the blood quickly. In a body over 60, that process is slower, a condition called anabolic resistance. The longer that glucose and sodium stay floating in the bloodstream, the more your blood volume rises, and the harder your heart has to push that thicker, fuller blood through stiffer vessels overnight. That is why your morning reading is high. It started at dinner. Think of your bloodstream after a meal as a river after a heavy rain. If the water keeps moving, it drains. If the river sits, it floods the banks. A 2020 study from a university metabolic lab found that 10 minutes of slow walking within 30 minutes of finishing dinner lowered next morning's systolic pressure by an average of 8 points in adults over 65. 10 minutes. Slow. Not a workout. A stroll. Raymond, the retired engineer from Tucson, started walking around his own living room for 10 minutes after dinner while watching the news. Just slow loops around the couch. In 4 weeks, his morning numbers dropped nearly 10 points. His wife joined him. They now do it together every night. Here's how to do it. Within 30 minutes of finishing dinner, walk slowly for 10 to 15 minutes. Inside is fine. Around the kitchen island is fine. Up and down a hallway is fine. The pace should let you talk in full sentences. That is it. No equipment, no gym, no special shoes. Comment the words, "I will walk," if you commit to trying this for 7 nights in a row. That is number 2. Now, the number 1 item. The one Ethan Cole does every single night. The one fewer than 3% of seniors know about. The one that, in his own home, and in the records of patients who have tried it, has produced the largest, fastest, most reliable drop in systolic blood pressure of anything on this list. Stay with this next part. Read it twice if you have to. Number 1. The 90-second evening cool down for your nervous system. Here is the truth almost no one is told. The single largest driver of stubborn high blood pressure after 60 is not what you ate, not what you weigh, not what your parents had. It is a nervous system that has forgotten how to power down at night. After decades of stress, worry, caregiving, loss, and noise, the aging nervous system gets stuck in a low-grade alarm state. It never fully switches into the rest mode, and when you go to bed in that state, your blood pressure does not dip the way it should. It stays elevated for the entire night, pounding the small vessels in your brain and kidneys for 8 straight hours. That is the real damage, not the daytime spikes, the nighttime ceiling. So the goal is simple. Teach the nervous system every single night that it is safe to power down. The technique is called the 90-second cool down, and it works through a nerve called the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the master brake of the body. When you stimulate it gently, your heart rate slows, your vessels widen, and your pressure drops. Think of the vagus nerve as the off switch on a stove. Most seniors never press it. The 90-second cool down presses it. A clinical trial published in an autonomic nervous system journal followed 200 adults over 60 with stage 1 or stage 2 hypertension. The group that did a 90-second vagal cool down every night before bed saw an average systolic drop of 12 points in 2 weeks. 12 points in 2 weeks. No pill achieves that on average. Here is the patient story that convinced Ethan Cole. A man named Frank, 72, a retired postal worker from Cleveland, had been on 4 blood pressure medications for 9 years. His numbers would not behave. He was tired. He was frightened. He had buried 2 friends to strokes in the same year. He agreed to try the 90-second cool down every night, with his doctor's knowledge. 2 weeks later, his evening readings dropped from 156 over 92 to 139 over 81. 6 weeks later, under his cardiologist's supervision, he was taken off one medication entirely. He called his daughter and could not speak for the first 30 seconds of the call. He just cried. He said, "I get to see the grandkids grow up now. That is what this is about." Here is exactly how to do the 90-second cool down. Sit on the edge of your bed, feet flat on the floor. Splash your face with cool water, or press a cool, damp cloth gently against your forehead and cheeks for 30 seconds. This activates the dive reflex, which is the fastest known way to stimulate the vagus nerve. Then sit upright and hum, softly, on the out-breath, for the next 60 seconds. Hum any low note. Humming vibrates the vagus nerve through the back of the throat. That is it. Cool cloth, 30 seconds. Soft humming, 60 seconds. 90 seconds total. Done every night, 15 minutes before you lie down. That is number one. That is the one fewer than 3% are doing. That is the one Ethan Cole does in his own bathroom every night before bed. Now, here's the question that should be bothering you by now. If these things are this simple, this free, and this effective, why has your doctor never said any of this to you? Why have you sat in waiting rooms for years, taken pill after pill, paid copay after copay, and never once been told about a 90-second routine that drops your pressure 12 points? The answer is not what you think. Your doctor is not hiding anything from you. Your doctor is drowning. The average primary care visit in this country is now under 15 minutes. 15 minutes to review your chart, your labs, your medications, your symptoms, your refills, and then explain something to you. There is no time left for the slow conversation. There is no time left for breathing exercises and walking after dinner and humming before bed. And the system that pays your doctor does not reimburse for that conversation. It reimburses for prescriptions and procedures. So the easy path, the only path available in 15 minutes, is another pill. Add to that an industry that spends billions every year reminding everyone that the answer is in a bottle, and you have a quiet, slow, decades-long forgetting of all the simple things that actually work. None of this is the fault of one doctor. It is the shape of the system. And once you see the shape, you stop waiting for the system to save you. You start saving yourself with small, free, nightly, repeatable acts of self-respect. So let us bring it all home. 7 things most seniors do the wrong way when it comes to lowering blood pressure. Cold water in the morning, swapped for warm sips slowly. Pills taken only in the morning, when one of them may belong at bedtime, with your doctor's blessing. Potassium salt substitutes used blindly, swapped for real herbs and real cooking. Long, deep afternoon naps, swapped for a 25-minute sit-up nap before 2:30. Shallow chest breathing all day, swapped for 10 minutes of slow-paced breathing morning and night. Sitting still after dinner, swapped for a slow 10-minute walk inside your own home. And the one that matters most, the 90-second vagal cool down before bed. Cool cloth on the face, soft humming on the out-breath. You are not broken. You were never broken. Your body is not failing you. Your body is asking for a different kind of care than it needed at 40. It is asking for slowness. It is asking for rhythm. It is asking for 90 seconds of quiet at the end of the day. Give it that and watch what happens. Here is the challenge. For the next 14 nights, do the 90-second cool down. Just that one thing. Take your reading on night 1 and write it down. Take your reading on night 14 and write it down. Then come back to this video and leave a comment with both numbers. Just the 2 readings. Nothing else. Whatever the numbers say, you will know something you did not know before. You will know what your own body can do when you finally speak to it in a language it understands. And if there is someone in your life over 60 who is tired, frightened, and stuck on too many pills, share this with them. One conversation can change the rest of their life. Take care of your body. It is the only home you have.